everyone is on hiatus, right? The entire sports world is shut down, but the world of UFC, I mean, last week was just a dizzying week. And almost like an hour after we stopped the show, when we ended, everything went like they announced Gaethje versus Ferguson as being official. They announced the full card. You started to get to work. So tell me this, because I'm curious from
Oh,
your perspective. We said goodbye.
uh-huh.
Can you take us through the next few days for you? Because correct me if I'm wrong, you were actually tapped to work the show, right?
Yeah,
As an
yeah.
analyst, tell us everything that what went down.
So it's a whirlwind, right, Ariel? Like when it starts to come together, you get a call from the company saying, here's one thing that you guys that aren't really like into, when they ask you to work the show, it's like, do you want to work? There is no wrong answer. You understand me? Like, there's no wrong answer. You can say yes, you can say no. You can say no, and nothing's gonna bother what you got going. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's nothing, you can do whatever you want. Like, we're just asking. And I said, yeah, I want to fight. I want to go to the fight. Actually, this was before the Dominic Cruz thing came out, right? Like before Dominic was going to fight for the title or something. And so it was like, he may work, but if this, thing, if he fights, then there'll be an opening. Would you want it? Yeah, I want it. So they called me, told me the procedures in terms of what was going to happen. I'm a guy that when I go places, generally I'm like not by myself, or somebody goes. I got friends, and I take them to the fights. And if I got a friend in the town that we're fighting, I invite them to the fight. And being in California, one of the biggest words for me was no one can go with you, like nobody. He said, DC,
Mm.
you got to come along. You're gonna check into the hotel. They're gonna screen you and make sure you're okay. Do everything. And then you're going to go into the arena, call the fights, and then you're going to leave. But I mean, in terms of what they were going to do to try and protect us, it was crazy because Rogan, myself, and Anik, how the octagon has 8 sides. We would each be on a different side of the octagon just to make
Mm.
sure we're social distancing away from each other. I mean, by the time I was done with this conversation, I felt like I was almost safer at the event than I am anywhere else, because it's only people that are okay. It's only people that are okay. It's we're all away from each other, and then you go and get paid, and you're there for a day. I could have drove up Saturday morning, called the fights, drove home Saturday night. It's like it was perfect for me.
So was that your plan? Because
Yeah,
correct me if I'm wrong. Like Lemoore is what, like 2.5 hours from
two
you?
and a half hours from me. Two and
Have
a
you
half
ever been
hours.
to Tachi Palace?
I can't say I've ever been to Tachi Palace, but I know some people have. My friend,
Right.
my boxing coach Rudy Cruz, he coaches guys that fight at Tachi Palace fights, and they have fights there, but I've never been.
Okay, so you were just gonna drive in that day and then drive back home.
Drive in, check into the hotel, get my stuff checked, and then go call the fights. Come back. I mean, we were gonna have nothing. We weren't gonna have a makeup person. We all had our own locker rooms. Like, it was just gonna be okay. Time to go to the octagon, call those fights. Time to go back. It felt like they had taken the right steps to ensure everybody was gonna be okay.
Did you or your wife have any reservations about doing this?
No, not us. We didn't. She asked me, and she was like, she when I told her I was gonna go do the fights, she was like, okay, so what's the plan? How's it gonna work? I was like, I'm in my truck, right? I'm in my truck. I walk out of my truck into this place, get screened and everything, go to the fights, come home. It's like, I'm not going really around anybody because everybody feels the same. Like, if you're an extremely paranoid person like that doesn't want you to come in contact with anyone, everybody feels the exact same way. It's not like this other person just okay wants to hug on you and stuff. Maybe fans, like, but nobody wants to be in contact right now. Everybody's afraid. I couldn't
It,
walk up to Zach Candido or and give Zach a big hug right now because he's probably going to be like, the elbow. You can't walk up to John Anik. Won't run up to me when he gets off his plane from Florida to California and give me a big old hug, right? Because he's aware and knows that he just flew over. It's like everybody is looking out for the better of each other, especially as friends.
By the way, I like how you mentioned Zach Candido, like he's just a household name with all due respect. Like,
No, he's my buddy. Like I'm saying,
I
Zach
know.
Candido. He's the coordinating producer for the UFC.
I know, but you
He's
think
my
everyone
boss.
knows who
No,
Zach Candido is?
well, I'm talking to you, right?
Yeah, well,
You
I'm
know
just
who
saying, like,
Zach Candido is,
we
right?
have an audience.
But I'm talking to you, right? I'm not
Right.
going to talk, or even Dana, right? So I'm not going to go to Dana White and give him a big hug right now. Everybody's going to kind of be aware of what's going on.
And then you did all the like the promos for it, right? Like the sit down interviews, breaking down the big fights.
I did
and all
some
that. You
promos.
did do all
Yeah,
that.
man. I got called, and this is the crazy. So they sent a guy into Gilroy to do my stuff. Well, I moved in December, I think. So my old house is empty. So what I did was I told the guy, I said, go, I'm gonna let you in, right? Stay in your car while I go and open the door. Seriously, I go, stay in your car, I'll open the door. And then when I leave, you can go up, set your cameras and everything. Tell me when you're done. Okay. When you're done, stand behind the camera, right? I'll walk into the room, sit, mic myself up. I'll do the interview. Once I'm done, I'll leave. And then when you're done taking all your stuff, I'll call me. I'll go lock up my house. Like we never came in contact, me and the guy. And I felt terrible. He's like, you feel so rude, but it's like, what else are you gonna
Right.
do? But it's like, yeah, that's what we did. Like I walked upstairs, went into the room, I sat on that thing, I broke down the fights, I left. Dude, I took all this stuff away because I told him he can only come alone. But it's like, even in that situation, right? He's more scared of me than I am of him. I'm watching him. He's got his mask. Like, dude looks terrified to be doing his job, but he does his job, right? He had been in 14-day quarantine. So I did that. I went home. So now the fights are on, right? I'm excited. I'm like, we're gonna get to go watch some fights, something normal. And then a couple days later, the governor's like, yo, no fights, and it's off again. So it was an uphill battle. It was almost there, but it just didn't work out.
That reminds me of when I'm walking around my block. Like I don't really go very far. I haven't left my house to go anywhere since March 11th. I'm very proud of this. But I go around the block, and it's almost like a game of chicken when someone's walking
Yeah.
down. Who moves first? And I actually get a little offended, if I'm being honest, if they move first. Like, what is it about me? You know what I mean? But for some reason, I don't feel that way if I move first. You know what I'm saying?
Well, because you're Ariel, right? And you think, well, because here's what you think, right? I'm gonna be honest with you. This is what you think,
Oh,
and
okay.
tell me if you agree or not. You haven't gone anywhere since March 11th. What if they have, right? Like, is that what you're feeling? Like, I know that I haven't gone anywhere for over a month. What
That's
if
not
they've gone
true.
to? No, I'm saying you.
Oh,
You
yeah, yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah.
like
Yes, yes, yes.
you have not gone anywhere for over a month. What if they've
Right,
gone to the grocery store? Now, all that time that you spent at home is for nothing, right? Because now I came in contact with this person.
right. The
Agree?
clock starts back at 0.
It starts back at 0. It's
Right.
like it's a weird thing. Like, I mean, I wish this thing. I wish this would hurry up and be over, man. Get back to
Yes,
normal, bro. I'm like
you and the
losing
rest
my
of
mind
the
here.
world.
I
Now,
mean,
in the midst of all of this, Dana also started talking about his fight island, right? Which
this
I
is the
think got
best.
people got confused, thinking that 249 was going to happen on an island, all this stuff and more. What do you make of this idea?
All right, so here's the thing, right? So, like, when you talk to me about Dana White, and Dana White, I like Dana White a lot, right? So I don't disagree with what he's doing. And I mean, I feel like I want fights. Like I really do. So to watch him put all this effort into trying to make it happen, it's a little crazy, but it's like it's what needs to happen. Like everybody, like we're all kind of like just waiting. Like nobody really knows what to do. And somebody has to show that there's a way to get going again. Like maybe is it going to be Vince McMahon, right? Because tonight WWE's filming a live tape. They're back filming live.
Crazy, right?
Like
Isn't
yeah,
that wild? How could
but
they do this? They
like
just announced over the weekend that one of their non wrestlers, but an on camera person, tested positive. How could they do this?
that's what I'm saying. But like somebody has to like do something in terms of. I mean, the NBA wants to get going. Baseball wants to get everybody want to get going, but everybody's just kind of waiting and is so afraid to kind of jump that we're just all standing still. And I think the UFC tried, and I honestly think that it would have worked if the fight went on last week. It would have worked.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.